Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your Bloody Happy Hour.
It's so bloody.
Today we are going to go to Louisiana and we are talking about Murder Under the Friday Night Lights again.
Oh, your favorite show.
Yeah, my new favorite. Easy show to watch.
Oh. Keep going, and then I have a little interjection.
Well, how about right after this sponsor?
Okay.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
All you have to do is visit betterhelp.com/bloody today, and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bloody.
Okay, so last week we did the episode of that crazy cop lady, Stephanie Lazarius or whatever. And then I just saw today that the 2020 episode that's coming out Friday, which when you hear this, it'll be last Friday, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was just scrolling and I saw, it was just a video and I started watching. I was like, this story sounds very familiar. And then they show her face and I was like, what are the odds? And like, you had just been saying like, where do you find these random stories? And I'm like, I don't know. And then sure enough, here goes 2020 doing a
I saw
story
it. I saw
on
it today, I think, and I sent it to you. And I was like, what are the odds?
Isn't that funny? Man,
How do they find their stories?
I don't know, but I feel like they probably,
need to work
I
for
think
them.
they're listening to our podcast.
They are. Shout out ABC 2020.
Just 2020. I'm still boycotting ABC. It's fine.
They're what?
Nothing.
Oh.
We don't need to get political here.
So Murder Under the Friday Night Lights, it's football season, and it is just a show that is on Max. All I did was find an episode, and I just pushed play. It was probably just the next episode that I hadn't watched, and this was last night at like 10 o'clock, so I almost did the Menendez, but that would require a whole lot more of me, and I didn't have a lot of brain. So this ends up being a good episode, but it's a simple one. It's like a cut and dry.
Love it.
It is sad, and it was a hard one for me. Like I teared up a little bit.
Like there's no like eating of people. There's no
it is not like gory. It is just sad. It's one of another When the Good Die Young. Like those are just those are hard. And then when it's an athlete and it's a boy and I think it's just harder. So
also can we take this moment? This episode is in memory of Madam Web.
Oh yes.
My dear Madam Web.
Go back a couple episodes if you don't know who Madam Web is.
Mm-hmm. She's fled the coop. She's.
I told you. You thought she was going to stick around long.
I thought she'd be here for at least a month. She didn't even last for 3 weeks.
She said
and we really bonded
on the back porch.
I went to go look for her.
Your lights kept her up.
She was gone. The remnants of her cocoon were there.
Yeah.
And she was nowhere to be found. So maybe she'll be back.
Now you know how Wilbur felt when he woke up that morning and Charlotte was just gone. I know.
So pour one out for Madam Web, everybody. Pour one out for Madam Web. She's no longer with us.
Never get attached to your spiders.
I did think about an Amber Alert, but then I was like, it's fine. I need to get a life, so it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, moving on. Let's go to Louisiana and talk about murder, so I don't think about Madam.
Yeah, Louisiana. And, I always think everything that happens in Texas doesn't happen everywhere else, but Friday Night Lights is a big deal in Louisiana too, especially like in smaller towns. So we're going to meet a guy named Juan Joseph. However, Juan is black, so the only black Juan you'll ever meet.
Black Juan. Juan in a million.
He's one in a million. He actually, anyways, Juan Joseph, born in Jefferson, Louisiana in 1987. He was a multi-sport athlete. He played football, he played basketball, he played baseball. He attended Edgar High School and West St. John High School in Louisiana. They won 2 championships while he was in high school. He was a 6', 200-pound quarterback, so a good guy that was able to see over his lineman pretty good, or big guy. He's a hometown hero. People would stay after the game just to like hang around and wait to talk to him. He always had a place to go eat dinner because they would find out what his favorite meals are, and they would be like, hey, we're cooking your favorite meal. Come over after practice. Come over after the games. Just because they wanted him in their space because he was just a good guy.
Aww.
They would offer, already said that, to cook his favorite meal. He graduated from high school in 2005 with a 4.1 GPA.
Oh, that's about as good as mine.
What is?
I didn't know it went above 4.0.
In high school, you're on a 5.0 scale.
They changed that.
I thought it was always like that.
I just thought it was 4.0, but don't get me lying.
So, great student, he was a triple threat, attitude, athletic, and academics. So, he received a football scholarship to Alcorn State University, which Steve McNair from one of our episodes, that's where he went. It's HBCU. And then received a scholarship to Millsaps University, and so he chose, which is in Mississippi, he chose Millsaps because they had a great business program. So, freshman year, he was just getting there. The quarterback was senior, so he was backup quarterback. He got some snaps in, but he wasn't starter.
Yeah.
And they had a crappy season. But when that quarterback graduated and was gone, and he was the starting quarterback, he led them to their first conference title.
Dang.
And they went to the playoffs, and he was named Conference Player of the Year, just like that, right off the bat. But by the end of his senior year in college, he was getting Player of the Year for the 3rd time over Michael Orr. Do you know that name from The Blind Side?
Yes.
He passed almost 10,000 yards and had 87 career touchdowns. Oh. So, though he loved football, he never really thought beyond that he would play beyond college. He was just like, I love it. Always want to be around football, but he never thought professionally. Yeah. But after he graduated, he actually played on some arena leagues and some Canadian football teams and ended up making money as a pro player on the arena or the Canadian leagues. So he led the Lafayette Wildcatters, I guess that's an arena league, to the playoffs his first year there. He was inducted into the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, and I feel like he's a big deal. That's a good little resume.
Yeah.
So, during this time, he fell in love to a girl named Kayla Esco, and they had a daughter. So, he is now married, and he was the type that was married forever. He wasn't just doing it just to do it. He wanted to marry forever. They had a daughter. They was excited about their daughter. And in around 2011, Juan decided it was time to come back home and serve his community, and he was hired at his old high school as a quarterback coach.
Okay.
So his hometown hero comes back, and he's excited to coach the quarterbacks there, and the players are excited to have him come and coach there because his pictures on the wall. He won the state titles for the team. He's a name that everybody knows in the town. He was welcomed. He was loved. He was once again part of a team that he helped make successful. And he never called what he did a job. It was a calling. It's November 2014. It's football season. And Juan and his wife are about to have their second child, and it was going to be a daughter. So the daughter is going to be born in just a couple weeks. And Juan and Kayla just got in the nursery together. And on November 16th, 2014, it was a Saturday, and this is when things change.
Oh, no.
Juan decides to do something that he never, ever, ever, ever does. He decides that he's going to attend a birthday party at this club called Allure in Baton Rouge, which is the bigger town. He's from the smaller town. So he's driving to the bigger town of Baton Rouge. He goes with 2 friends, and he knows that he's about to have a daughter, so 2 kids in football season. So he's going to be tied up at home or work for a long time. So he says, I'll go to the birthday party because I'm not going to have any freedom for a while.
Yeah.
So best friend, Patrick Jackson, they've been best friends since high school. They played and won championships together. And then Patrick has a friend named William Griffin. So them 3 go to Club Allure. And then it's 2 a.m. Club is over. They are leaving. And Juan's mom gets a call to go to the hospital. Juan gets shot. And so Juan's mom calls the dad, who's at work. And as he is driving, he leaves work immediately. And as he is driving, he gets another call from his wife saying Juan is gone. So he was shot at the club. He's 27 years old. Now, police are called. They show up to Club Allure, and they get the gun casings and everything. And they go up to the hospital later. And they know Juan because Juan is a name to know. And he's the type of person that should not be dying by gun violence. Like, he didn't live that life. He wasn't raised that way. And the police promised the parents that they will find out who this is. That's a big promise to make that police really aren't even supposed to be promising. So they interviewed 2 friends, the friends that he was with, Patrick and Williams. So they immediately take them to the police station. And so Patrick is first, and Patrick was like, everything was fine at the club, like dancing, it was fine. And when it was over, they walked out the door, and somebody from across the parking lot knew Juan, and they were walking across the parking lot to go talk to this person that called Juan. And as they were walking across, this black BMW speeds and almost hits William, the other friend. So William kind of bangs on the
he's like the hood,
and like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And him and the driver start getting into it. Okay, so then Patrick's trying to de-escalate them. Juan's over on the passenger side trying to say, hey, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. He's drunk because William had been drinking. It's cool. Y'all go ahead and go about your business. We're going over there. Like, trying to de-escalate the situation. He's a coach. It's what he does. He doesn't want anybody arguing. He just wants to go home to his wife and his kid. Well, driver of the car has a silver gun, and he gets out and he pulls it and he points it at William. So they both have their hands up. Passenger of the car gets out and he pulls the gun on Juan. And Juan was like, bro, this is not what it is. He tries to push his hands down. When he does, the man shoots him in the chest point blank twice.
Oh.
They hop in the car and they leave. Patrick, best friend, runs over to Juan, tries to stop the bleeding, but also tries to memorize the license plate, which he says, I am verbatim, like, going over the license plate number, whatever it is. He says, but I'm not retaining anything. I'm, like, saying it, but I'm not saying it, but not remembering it. So when it came time to, like, tell the police, he had no idea what he was saying because he was in that much of shock.
Well, yeah.
So, obviously, he dies. Now, Juan's last words he tells Patrick is, "Tell my wife that I love her." So William's turn to get interviewed, and he's all over the place. He couldn't remember exactly what happened. He thought maybe Juan was the one arguing, and his story kind of changed up. And he was like, maybe they were jealous because like Juan was like this great athlete and this great dude. Maybe they were jealous. Like I don't know why would they shoot him? I think it was jealousy. He was speculating these things, and he was kind of all over the place. He didn't show as much emotion as Patrick, but he wasn't as close with them as Patrick. He was Patrick's friend, not Juan's friend.
But
still, police also thought it was interesting that the way he was shot, directly in the chest. That's not an accident. Like if the gun accidentally goes off, it's usually not twice directly in the chest.
Yeah, because if he was trying to get it personal. Or like trying to get it from him, then
leg or something. Yeah, leg or something, foot, side. It was directly in the chest. So,
and William should feel bad because he was the one who was banging on the car.
Yeah. Yep. And he was the drunk one.
Yeah.
So they were thinking, could Juan have been targeted? The community was, of course, devastated because this was their hometown hero. The players were devastated. This was the Saturday, so the next week they had a Friday night football game, and they all agreed. They thought about canceling the game. They all agreed that Coach Joseph would want them to play. So they asked his dad, so Juan's dad, to lead the players out on the field, and like he broke the banner.
He ran through the banner?
Yes, and broke the banner. And they won 57-0 that night. And they released 27 balloons for all 27
don't tell.
years
That's people
of
get
life.
mad about people releasing balloons.
Oh yeah, blue and white balloons.
Because it gets in the cows eat it, and it kills the ducks, and they be eating the cat. Eat the cat.
Well, he lived 27 years of life, so they released 27 balloons for him. So the players felt like they won that game for Coach Joseph. Meanwhile,
my gosh.
officers, DTF, they are contacting local businesses for camera footage because, of course, Club Allure, cameras weren't working. The businesses around there, their cameras were facing the opposite way, that like wasn't directly facing the parking lot, so that was not helpful. And so all they had was, they knew that there was a black Mercedes car. And they knew it was two black males driving. So they go to like gas stations along the path. And they see on their cameras that a black Mercedes is speeding through the parking lot. And usually in this situation, especially like in, I would say, snitches get stitches.
And wind up in ditches.
Right, and wind up in ditches. This was opposite. The community was so eager to have his murder solved that they were calling in all the tips. They formed a little Juan Joseph posse where they were knocking on doors and trying to get the answers. So they were getting pissed if somebody was not snitching. Like, if you see something, say something. If you know something, say something. So because they were being so proactive, two names came up. The names were Kendrick Cloud and Lamarck Cloud. They're cousins.
Oh, of course, cousins.
So the police show Patrick and William their pictures, and they recognize them. They said, Kendrick, he looks like the guy that was on the passenger seat and the shot won. And Lamarck was the driver. They were pretty sure about that. Well, when they pulled their records, they both had criminal records. The driver had been arrested for first-degree murder before and had a separate drug charge.
And he was just out.
He was, I don't, was he out on bond? Could they not charge him?
Yeah.
Lamarck, so they get a search warrant, and so they're able to bring in Lamarck first. They brought him in for questioning, and he declined. He refused to talk. Yeah. To make a statement. They can't find Kendrick anywhere, so they go to social media, and people are like, "Oh, he's here. He's here. He's here. He's here." It never happens, especially in black communities.
They were pissed.
Usually in black communities, they know exactly who did the killing, but they are not going to talk, right?
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, Kendrick, you can go find him at his big mama's house." So they brought Kendrick in, and Kendrick refused to give a statement. But they tried to find links on how you could link Kendrick and Lamarck to Juan, and there were no connections, and there were no murder weapons. So besides, like, them being at the parking lot at that time, there was not really any evidence.
Like really just random drive-by, and we're pissed, so we're going to shoot people.
There was not an award out for this murder or anything yet. You know, usually it's like $10,000 reward for anything. It hadn't even got there yet.
Yeah.
But they didn't really need it to be because people were already helping.
Yeah.
So an anonymous source came forward with his own heart because there was no award, and the police met him, and he got in the back of the car, and he said that they need to be looking for a guy from Houston area.
What?
Yes. And the gun that was used to shoot Juan was thrown in the woods next to Lamarck's house. So Lamarck lives somewhere, and then there's some woods next to his house. So when they drop off this anonymous person, they go straight to Lamarck's house and find the wooded area, and they dig, and they find a bag with two guns. The silver gun that Lamarck had, and the
other one that
black
Kendrick
gun
had.
that Kendrick had. And they had already got their DNA swabs from when they had come in. So they run DNA, and doesn't match. Now, they have...
What?
The bullet casings match the bullets from the crime scene. The bullets match...
So that was the murder weapon.
That were pulled out of Juan's body. So there's no doubt that the black gun, which was a 9mm, was a murder weapon. So, but the DNA did not match either of the Cloud cousins. I know. I was confused there too. Police
But
was
confused. There DNA on the guns?
Yes.
Or because they could have wiped it clean,
and that's what I was thinking. But they did have DNA. The DNA was not a match.
Oh.
So. Police were
tell
confused,
me it's William.
But they were able to indict Lamarck on second-degree manslaughter, but Kendrick was able to go free because they knew they could at least put Lamarck at the crime scene driving the car, and so we had a dead body, and because his DNA was on his gun, they could at least put him there.
Okay.
So he got a second degree. Kendrick just got to go.
What?
And at this time, that's who we're thinking is the actual shooter. Another tip came in, and another name came up, and this name was Jamarcus Goodman. Jamarcus Goodman is from H-Town.
Okay.
So remember that first anonymous source was like, you need to be looking at a guy from H-Town. So friends William and Patrick, they come, and Jamarcus Goodman is in a lineup. And they're like, okay, we got another guy, and do you see anybody in this lineup that you recognize? And Jamarcus is right there, and they cannot identify. They have no idea who he is. So this lineup, and this is the alleged shooter, and they don't recognize him. They recognized Kendrick, but they don't recognize Jamarcus. And their pictures, they don't look alike. One's dark skin and one's lighter skin.
Yeah.
Their facial features are different. And so they just felt like total letdown, like they've let down one. Luckily, Jamarcus had a warrant in Houston for aggravated robbery, and so he was jailed in Houston. So he's not going free. He's not going to run. He's able to be in custody in Houston while they are
figure it out. Yeah.
This. And so they interview him, and he was cooperative. He was like, they were like, "Have you been to Baton Rouge lately?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was there last football season. And I was visiting my cousin." And I said, "Okay, well, do you know Lamar Cloud and Kendrick Cloud?" "Yep, sure do. Lamar dates my cousin." And he says, "Have you ever been to Club Allure?" "No, never been. I just go to my cousin's house when I've been down there. Never been to Club Allure." "Have you ever shot anyone, killed anyone when you've been up there?" "Never killed anyone." "Do you need my DNA?" "Here's my DNA." Gave up his DNA willingly, was very cooperative. When I watched this interview, I was like, this guy did not do it. But no one can put him at the crime scene. Nobody can line him up. They did get his DNA. But they had Lamarck, so they were like, his DNA is a match. They run his DNA, and his DNA is the match to the gun.
What?
It's great, but is it enough? Because nobody can put him at the club.
No.
So they're like, all we have is Lamarck. If Lamarck does not narc, then Jamarcus can go free.
And Lanark.
So 2 years go by.
Oh, my gosh.
Both are in jail. So they have to make some type of deal with Lamarck. They're interviewing Lamarck, and they're like, "Lamarck, tell us what happened. Tell us
it. Spill the tea, Lamarck."
And so he finally confesses. And
Lamarck did?
Lamarck, he's finally like, okay, that night I was driving the car, and Jamarcus was in the passenger seat. And I almost hit the William guy. We were getting into it, and Juan was talking to Jamarcus, and Jamarcus was mad. And so he got out, and he must have pulled the trigger. But I didn't hear bullets. He must have shot Juan. And then all I remember is he told me to get in the car and drive away.
Okay, which one is the one that shot him, and who's talking at this interview right now?
Lamarck is the driver that was always the driver.
Okay.
Jamarcus is the one from Houston is the one that shot.
And the one that's at the interview was the driver?
Yes, he's the one that's confessing.
And he's confessing that he himself shot him, or that the other Houston guy shot him.
He's telling the story that Houston guy shot him.
Houston guy didn't say he was never at the club.
I know. So I was still not believing. So then I was like, is Lamarck just covering for his cousin Kendrick?
Oh shit.
So
he probably is, and they're just throwing the other guy. But
he also said that
they
went. They
so
dumped
he
the
probably
guns.
did do it.
I know,
because it's DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then also the guys the best friends were drinking at the club. Maybe they don't really remember the faces, and so he also said that they dumped the guns.
They even mentioned there was a third guy.
No, there wasn't. Kendrick was never there.
Oh, Kendrick was never there.
Yes.
Wait, where? Oh, they just okay.
They just said that. They just know that Lamarck and Kendrick are always together.
Oh.
They knew that Lamarck drives this Benz, so they assumed the first people, when those names came up, they assumed it would have been Lamarck and Kendrick.
Okay.
But it was actually Lamarck and Jamarcus.
I got it.
So Kendrick dodged a bullet.
Well, that's no pun intended.
So September 20th, 2016, Lamarck pled guilty to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and he was sentenced to 7.5 years. Goodman, Jamarcus, the one from Houston, was already in jail in Texas for aggravated robbery. He was also sentenced to 40 years in prison because he pled guilty to the shooting. So he admitted he did the shooting after the fact. And he was transferred to Louisiana prison in 2022. The reason for the shooting is the fact that they approached. William was pissed
because the car was speeding. Yes, I don't blame William at all.
And was arguing with the driver. Juan wasn't even arguing with the passenger.
No,
he just got out and held the gun because his penis is small. Just shot him. When they asked Joseph what he did with, Joseph was a career, Jamarcus Goodman, Houston boy, what he's done in his life, and he was just a career criminal. He had never held a job, ever. He was transferred to Louisiana prison in 2022.
Okay, I don't feel bad for this guy.
After all this, the community was relieved that they finally got justice for Juan, and it took 2 years, but it was solved. The next season, so that next December 2017, the high school that Coach Joseph went to and coached at won the state championship.
Oh, wow.
And they had not won it since Juan and Patrick were on the team together. And so the team said that it was their tribute and their closure for Coach Joseph. And then the community park was redone and rededicated and named Juan Anthony Joseph Memorial Park.
Oh, that's
the end.
And the wife went and had the baby. And
I know, she's
all
a
the
single mama
things.
too.
Maybe she already found somebody to give her a spa day.
Maybe.
Or maybe some Botox. I don't know.
Yep. So there's murder under the Friday Night Lights, and this time it wasn't a cheerleader. And the murderer wasn't a player. It was a coach.
I know. I watched some of them where I think another coach was murdered. But he had recently, I don't remember, he had recently come from another school and he went there and then they didn't realize he was into, this one was, he was like into like, I think he would go to like, clubs, sex clubs. What's a sex club? Strip clubs? I don't know. And then he got like, he was always messing with different strippers, and then one stripper got mad because he was with another stripper, and then ended up like shooting him at his house, and then all this stuff. Yeah, it was wild. Maybe I'll do that one.
Yeah. Do it.
Oh, pour one out for Juan.
Yes. Take a drink for Juan.
Good
Joseph.
Story. Okay. All those ones are just,
I know.
They're good, but they're sad.
They are. That is it. That's all I got.
Love it.
We'll see y'all next week for a whole new week of Bloody Happy Hour. All new news. Whole new episode.
There's what's going to pop off this week?
Yeah.
Ain't no telling.
We'll see. Don't forget to
stay aware.
Stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Go send us a review. Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support and a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.